This is one of my favorite examples of the hourglass or the timer. So everything's vibrating. The wood vibrates at a certain level. The glass vibrates at a certain level. The sand vibrates at a certain level. Well, isn't it wild that everything is always moving into and out of form? Energetic states, vibrating. We all are. Bob always used to use the example of, a corpse in a coffin is vibrating. It's turning into dust and decaying. Even bones and rocks, but very slow, very, very slow. They vibrate slow. Different things vibrate faster. But sand and glass are the same substance. They're just vibrating at different speeds. When we heat up the sand and put heat to it, it vibrates quicker and it turns into glass. So glass and sand are the same substance, but they're vibrating at different speeds. Water and ice, ether, gas, they're all the same. They're just vibrating at different speeds, so they take different forms. So depending on how we vibrate will dictate the form that it takes in our body. And truly, we're just full of molecules and atoms that are vibrating. What dictates how we vibrate? Us. But a lot of us aren't taught this information. So it's so important to be aware of how you are vibrating. All right. So it's our emotions that set the point of attraction. If any of you have never read Dr. David Hawkins' work, one of his books is called Power versus Force. It is not an easy read by any means, but one of the most popular concepts out of this is his map of consciousness. So let me see if I could zoom in a little bit. Oh yeah, I think I can. Hopefully we can get this. All right. So again, this is from David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. And this is a consciousness scale. These are just examples. He rates it from all the way up to 1,000 down to 20 or 0. And he puts examples of different human emotions: shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, and they go up the scale to higher vibrations or higher levels of consciousness. If you'll see, anything below 200 is lower destructive energy. It's contracted energy. This is forceful energy. It creates force. When we are in emotions or vibrations of shame, guilt, fear, we experience these things. And again, these are just examples. So when we're in shame, we can really experience misery, humiliation, guilt, victimhood, blame, apathy, helplessness, hopelessness, sadness, regret, depression, worry, anxiety. Most of the human race vibrates below 200. It's pretty staggering when people are calibrated, which they do through testing, muscle testing, and everything can calibrate at a different level. Anything above 200, right? Courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, all the way up to peace is enlightenment, which is pretty rare. I think Buddha, Krishna, Jesus Christ, they say vibrate at this higher level, this awareness, consciousness level. And anything really above 200 is a creative energy. It's expansive. And emotions like empowerment, feeling like life is exciting. We have energy, knowledge and education. We're using reason, purity, true happiness, intuition, getting up here, God consciousness, synchronicity, things being effortless. 500 and above just dissolves negativity, according to David Hawkins. Really, if we can just vibrate at 200 or above, we would be in a creative, expansive energy. So what kind of thoughts do we have to think? Even just getting neutral, our energy becomes more positive. We begin having more confidence. We're growing. Even being in this course, this is vibrating above 200 for sure. But again, we're not going to demonize any of these lower vibrations or emotions because we're human and we have them all. We can find ourselves in grief if we lose somebody we love. We can find ourselves in fear if there's a change in life that we didn't expect. But the goal is, how quick can we get up to courage, willingness, acceptance of the situation that we're in? There's no rush, but I think we definitely prefer, if we can, to get into more of a neutral state. Yes, we'll have times where we experience grief, and we can go up and down this scale in the same day, in the same hour. But the point is we can dictate where we are on this consciousness scale. Are we going to remain in a destructive energy? Although these are very human thoughts and valid. Are we going to choose to stay here, or are we going to climb up this ladder to a more creative energy that feels more expansive? And it's to each their own. There's no judgment. However, especially working in the industry of mental health, there's a lot of people who find themselves in fear, desire, anger, especially hate and aggression. And they like it here. It makes them feel empowered. But it's a destructive energy. And it's destructive to themselves first. And they're valid, by the way. But they have to want to change into a more creative energy if they want their life to change. So this is really helpful for me when I'm explaining, if somebody truly wants to change, I show them this. And first, it's awareness. We're not always perfect at it. Trust me, I can fall right down here into guilt and fear and desire and not be as willing or accepting of my current circumstance or my state that I'm in or dealing with somebody that's difficult. But it's how fast can I get out of that? And one point I would like to make is, people say, why is desire low? Don't we want to desire things? This is the truth. Find out what you want, something you desire, and get right up here to acceptance as it's already done. In faith, you believe it's already done. Don't stay in desire, in worry that it's not going to happen. Wanting, that's a lack, scarcity mentality. If we have desire, know what you want, jump right up to love, acceptance, gratitude for it already being done. Trust and faith, getting in that state of the wish fulfilled. Don't stay in desire. Because if I stay in a state of wanting something, somebody pointed out, I said, I really, really want to shift positions at my job. Okay, Carla, you really, really want that? Here you go. Here's more of that. More of what? More of wanting. I don't want more of wanting. I want the job. Okay, you want the job. Here's more wanting the job. And I'm like, oh, crap. Oh, I already have the job. I'm grateful for the job I have, and I'm grateful for the job that's on the way. Okay, here's more of that. I have faith that the new job is coming. Okay, here's more faith of that. So it's really important to, of course, know what we want, but get right up to even feeling neutral about it, releasing it. They say surrender it, let it go. Of course, take the inspired action to get there, but don't stay in a state of wanting or desire, because that's a lower vibration. Get into gratitude as if it's already done, the faith. This is my own beautiful handwriting, and somebody pointed out very lovingly that I spelled grief wrong, but we're human. This is my version of the consciousness scale. So again, up to 1,000, down to 20, and the calibration scale of our emotional state or our vibrational state. Most of us, again, are below 200, out of the zone, stuck in negative emotion. I used to find this in my life. I spent the first 30 years of my life out of zone, stuck in negative emotions, pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame. And as I started seeing more clients, I realized this state of inertia was depression. It was lack of energy, lack of motivation, lack of desire, not wanting or feeling like doing anything new, no joy in anything, just feeling stuck and inert, heavy, depressed. That's when we're down here, 100 and below. And up here, hyperactivity, what I realized was anxiety, busy mind, worrying all the time, pride, anger, desire, and many other, not so great feelings. So this is like anxiety and depression, everything below 200, a state of fear, a state of wanting, scarcity, and lack. However, if we just get up to 200, we can be more happy and productive. We can get into the level 1, feeling optimism, forgiving, trusting, having courage to change or try something new, even when we don't feel like it. Getting into level 1. I tell people, and I tell myself, like, this, if I can just start here, because when I wake up in the morning, I do not know what's up, and I am very honest with it. I am negative emotions coming to attack me. I'm like, how fast can I get up to be happy and productive? I use my affirmations, I use my Think Up app, I use my Superhuman app, which I'll share all those resources with you as well, or YouTube video, something positive, music to get me into a happy, productive vibration, or on that consciousness scale. Other than that, above here, we can get into 400s and above. Peak performance without stress, the level 2 zone, as they call it. And up here, synchronicity, extraordinary outcomes, joy, gratitude, love. We can all get here in our minds when you just see everything's working out for that person. Wow, they're so lucky. Everything just works out for them. So synchronistic. They go out and they just run into people and offer them jobs and money. It's like, oh, we can feel jealous or like, God, why does that happen to me? Well, let's practice more love, joy, and gratitude for ourselves and others. Remember, whatever's going on